Leary's phone rang before he could make a smart retort. Leary, on my way. It was my turn to raise my eyebrow. What, a hot date? No, dear, it was the morgue. I have to go over there. You know, you are still my one and only, he retorted with extreme sarcasm. There was laughter from the peanut gallery that had been watching this exchange. Mike said, How long have you two been married? However long, it's been way too long. Maybe the both of you need to go to couples counseling so you can take this relationship to the next level. Leary shot him one of those, I know where you live and what kind of car you drive, and maybe you might just have some unpaid tickets. I said, Now, dear, don't get your panties in a wad. The children were just teasing. Then I got the look before Leary turned on his heel and stormed out the door, slamming it behind him. I looked at Mike, and he looked at me. What? Can't the old boy take a joke? It is just his time of the month, and he's a bit testy because of the gifts that are being left in our town, I said as I thought about the murders. I didn't have time to deal with the so-called chic if they called back. I already decided that I would not close my club for him or anyone else. After all, it was the season, and Lola had to shine. I went back to my dressing room to decide what I wanted to change into before the club opened. The morning had flown by, and soon the masses would be barging through the doors for their daily dose of amusement. We entertained all walks of life, from straight to gay to unsure, the very rich, the not-so-rich, and those who had nothing better to do with their time. We charged a cover charge at night, but during the day we didn't. We held mini shows during the day as a crowd draw for the big events at night. I stood looking at all of my many costumes. What to wear? I needed something that was drop-dead, eye-popping, mind-boggling gorgeous. Would it be the Armani, Versace, or even the Vera Wang? Decisions, decisions, decisions. What's a girl to do? I finally settled on a hot little number, pink of course, with a bustier bodice, long slinky skirt with the necessary slit up the right leg, and killer stilettos. Today I decided to wear a different wig, a pink page boy with bangs that gave me that sultry 1940s look. I looked in the mirror and decided that I needed to get rid of my 5 o'clock shadow, which had arrived at 11 o'clock. It wouldn't do to have stubble in my face under my beautiful artwork. After shaving, I sat down at my vanity, turned on all the makeup lights, and went to work. First, I applied the moisturizer, added concealer, then foundation and highlighter. I toned down my broad nose to make it look more feminine and hit the top of my forehead to give it a bit of depth so it didn't look so big. Once the canvas of my face had its background, I patted on a bit of powder to set the base. I went to work on my cheekbones with blush and highlighter. I took my time. A girl had to always look her best. There could not be a blemish visible or a 5 o'clock shadow. When I got to my eyes, I decided to go for the Cleopatra look, complete with black liner and long lashes that made me look like a cat. When the job was completed 2 hours later, and the fine mist of hairspray had been applied to keep it all from running, I looked at the face staring back at me. Not bad. The Cher costume would be the outfit of the evening. Today, I was strutting my pink. I debated carrying my firearm, but nixed the idea. Instead, I put it in my safe and saw the Cal-Tech 380. There was really no place to hide the Smith & Wesson. It would be hard to explain a bulge in my skirt. But the little Cal-Tech would fit inside my thigh with the small holster I had made. Yep, she would do nicely. I took her out of the safe and closed the door. I stripped out of my daytime clothes and began the tortuous process of getting into my female bodysuit. First, I put on one of my many gaffs in order to hide the boys and give the appearance of a female form in that important area. I didn't want any loose swinging body parts moving around as I met the customers. It would have been in very